You're listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the most listened to daily Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
Miami's got the Dolphins, the greatest of all.
Come on, Dolphins fans. Time to fins up.
We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl. Cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one.
Good evening, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast on this Wednesday, December 18th. Ian, we are officially 1 week away from Christmas or Hanukkah, whatever everyone celebrates. We don't care. You know why? Because this is our annual Mike and Ian's Christmas special holiday spectacular. I try to cover everything with everyone. Big guy, how you doing this week?
I'm doing okay after watching the Dolphins crap the bed last week, but you know, what can you do? We move on as we have for most of our lives. We move on, and I'm excited to have some fun with you tonight because it's been a dreary couple of days since Sunday.
It has. Well, it has. Not going to say I'm totally surprised by it because sort of saw this coming in the offseason, then I really saw it coming in training camp, and we've seen it play out here the past few months. And on Sunday versus Houston, it all came to a head, which every flaw, every one of us has pointed out for months. Reared its ugly head because this team is flawed in a lot of areas. We'll talk about a little bit of that tonight. We got some surprise guests. We're going to pop through the broadcast throughout the show. We're going to have some fun. Yes, we got a game coming up this week. We're going to talk about that as well. And we're going to play the name game again. We got so much to talk about. But hey, if you're out there and you're looking for a last-minute gift, whether Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, I need a last-minute gift. I don't know what to get. Folks, go to caneswear.com and buy something. Or if you're in South Florida, just go to Caneswear, the building itself. Don't believe me? Well, watch this.
The DolphinsTalk.com podcast network is sponsored by Caneswear. Caneswear is the place to go for officially licensed apparel for the Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, the Hurricanes, Florida Panthers, and all of the professional and college teams in South Florida. Looking for the latest jersey, a birthday gift, or the newest hat to hit the market of your favorite South Florida team? Check out Caneswear for their overwhelming selection of sports apparel. Located at 2655 South University Drive, Davie, Florida, Caneswear has it all. Not in South Florida? No worries. Visit Caneswear.com to shop their inventory from the comfort of your home, and they'll ship it to you. International fans, too. Caneswear.com is the spot that Miami fans shop. That's Caneswear.com. Caneswear.com.
All right, Caneswear.com. They got it all. Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Hurricanes, Marlins for the 5 Marlins fans are in South Florida, and everything else. 2 bits of housekeeping here real quick. Number 1, we're up for 2 Sports Podcast Awards. We would appreciate your vote. I'm putting the links of where to vote here in our YouTube channel, in the chat. They're, of course, all over our social media, whether myself, Ian, Tom. So be sure to vote on any of our social medias, at Ian693, at Dolphins Talk, at Dolphins Talk Tom. We got them out there. So be sure to vote for us. We really appreciate it. It takes a second. Click one link, vote. Click another link, vote. It takes literally 2 seconds. It's free. The other thing, Ian, I don't know if you heard. You know, I know we're pretty much out of the playoffs, and I know these last 3 games are going to be tough to get through with really nothing on the line. This Sunday, Miami, San Francisco, Aaron the Brain and Josh Katzker are coming to my house. We're doing a watch along. And if you are a part of Dolphins Talk Extra, patreon.com/Dolphins Talk, $3 a month, you can watch and be a part of this watch along. You can come on the air with us. And here's what else we're going to do in this watch along. It's been 24 years since we won a playoff game. We need to do something to change the juju, as they say. So during this watch along for 3 hours, behind us, I am going to burn the Odell Beckham jockstrap candle live on the air during the game, and hopefully to change to as a peace offering to the football gods above to give us a stinking break and maybe so we can get some luck and a bounce. We are doing this for you. Now, like I said, you got to be a part of Dolphins Talk Extra. Go to patreon.com/DolphinsTalk. Folks, it's $3 a month. I can't make it any cheaper. It's not that much money. And you get access to extra shows, podcasts, some about the Dolphins, some not. You get a private message board we have where you can interact with us on a more one-on-one nature. And yes, watch along contest. We gave away the Mercury Morse jersey. But this watch along is going to be special because we are going to burn the Odell Beckham Jr. jockstrap candle as a faith offering to the football god. So everyone go to patreon.com/DolphinsTalk. I think it's a great idea. I mean, we got to do something.
But I have to mention, though, you used the phrase stinking. And I sure hope that when you're burning that candle, the Odell Beckham candle, I hope it does not stink. I hope you are scent blasted appropriately with a very nice fragrance that will fill up the room with joy and happiness on Sunday afternoon/evening.
I want to tell you, it smells of Odell's signature notes of wood, citrus, amber, and green lavender, as well as a neroli flower. I have no idea what that is. So it doesn't sound like. Look, I know it's a picture.
Sounds
of his
like
abs.
a quitter to me.
He might quit. Hopefully, the candle will burn to the end before it goes out. But yeah, so I don't think it's going to smell bad per se. But yeah, that's our thing. We're going to watch the game, burn the Odell candle. We'll probably tell some jokes, have some fun because really the outcome of the game doesn't matter. So yes, everyone, patreon.com/DolphinsTalk. Sign up. Trust me, we'll give you $3 a month worth of entertainment every month. It's well worth it. Cheaper than a price of Starbucks. Ian, Dolphins played Houston last week, and I will say this, going into the game, I thought there's no way our miserable stinking defense could stop Joe Mixon and CJ Stroud. Guess what? They stopped them.
Yep.
The defense showed up and played a hell of a game. The defense was, dare I say, fantastic last Sunday. They haven't been fantastic all year, but for 1 week, the biggest game of the year, they were fantastic. It was everything else. So use this, Ian, as this platform that you have each and every Wednesday night as a therapy session, a venting session, and get everything off your chest before Christmas so you can enjoy Christmas with your family. Get it all off your chest of what went wrong versus Houston, what's frustrated you all year with this team. Let it out, big guy.
It just feels like the same exact thing. I hate to say it, and it feels like whenever we have a big game, that really important game, the same damn thing happens. And it's just disappointing is probably an understatement for what we as Miami Dolphins fans expected. And we've watched two of the last couple of weeks, and he's been consistent. He's been accurate. He's not made the mistakes. And then come Sunday, he looks very different. Again, we're playing against a team that is over 500. And really him forcing and it felt like he was forcing the ball to Tyreek a couple different times, even though there were some plays that Tyreek probably should have come down with the ball, but it felt like he was forcing the ball to Tyreek. And that's just not been the game plan the last couple of weeks. And it was interception after interception. You would think after the first one, he'd say, all right, I'm going to make a better decision. We're going to choose somebody else. And I know Jaylen Waddle going down doesn't help, but you've still got Jonnu Smith. You've still got Malik Washington, who ended up being one of the leaders in the wide receiver room. You still got River Craycraft. What the heck happened to him, man? He's on the field. He's out there playing. So it was just, I guess it's kind of like the kick in the nards, right? That we get every time around this time of year. Last year it was the last game of the season that we got that kick. The prior year it was the playoff. Last couple of years prior to that were the playoffs that we got that kick. And man, it's just hard. It's hard, but the sad thing, and I don't want to say this as being a sad thing, is that we're still going to be Miami Dolphins fans. But I think we've all come to the realism that something significant has to change. We talked about trying to change the culture, and with Chris Grier being the GM, with Mike McDaniel being the head coach, we haven't seen much difference from a culture perspective. We've had players that have come out to call our team soft. We still can't beat the teams in cold weather. We still can't beat teams that that have over a 500 record. And that is a culture thing. And I hate to continue to point to Dan Campbell with Detroit. His first season was horrific with Detroit, but he instituted something there where they were, I think he even said, we're going to be biting kneecaps. We're going to
Kneecap biters. Yeah.
right. And that was the culture that he created. It took some time for that to take hold, but it did take hold, and everybody is believing that. And we don't see that. And it's frustrating too, because we've endured the rebuild. We endured trading away Laramie Tunsil at the last minute and having to go that horrible season where we thought we were going to go without a win, and then we ended up winning a couple of games. It's just been hard, man. It's been hard as a Dolphins fan, but we're going to stick with it. I do anticipate some changes in the offseason. What those changes are going to be, I don't know. It's not up to any of us fans either. Hopefully, Stephen Ross will see some things and say, I need to make some changes. But what we've seen from him before also is that he's very comfortable with certain people, and he keeps them around for a while for one reason or another. So I don't know, man. And I think there's questions about Tua as well, because Tua is part of this puzzle. Tua is part of, can he win the big game, right? Can he win the games that count the most, that are most important? And the answer to that right now is just no. He hasn't been able to. He has, like you said, defense played well. I think they played a hell of a lot better than they played against the Jets the weekend before.
Joe Mixon had 23 yards, 1.9 yards a carry. C.J. Stroud had 131 yards. C.J. Stroud would not have thrown for a touchdown pass if not for turnovers by Tua. Those are all pretty much facts.
Yeah, exactly. So, sometimes teams look at their starters and say, we want to get a really premier backup in case something happens. And I think we said that was going to be the case, because didn't Tua also go head first in a dive when he was trying to get an extra yard?
Yes, he did.
Again?
And I just want to point out, for the second time this year, the first time versus the Bills, they were getting embarrassed when he did that in the second half. The game was already over, and you can tell because Tua wears his heart on his sleeve in these games. He's in a pissy mood. He's frustrated. He's annoyed, and that's where he goes, I don't give a crap, and he just goes head first, and he got a concussion. This game versus Houston, he's got multiple turnovers. They're losing. He knows if they lose, it's pretty much over this season. He's in a pissy mood. He doesn't slide. If Tua's in a bad mood, he don't slide. He goes, screw it, I don't care. And that's where he hurts the team. Now, he didn't get a concussion this game, obviously, but we know with his history, he's prone to it. And that's where Tua's got to have his emotions in check. And I got to slide not 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10.
Exactly.
And he refuses to do it. And that's why I said back in September when he got this injury, I can't trust him anymore. It's not about the play on the field. Some of it is, but it's mainly if there's no trust, you can't pay a guy $232 million and not trust him. That's a big problem. And there's a trust factor on top of everything else with him as well.
And it's instinctual by him. And I think that's where the problem lies. Like you tell him 100 times.
That's when he's in a pissy mood, because he'll slide versus the Jets. He'll slide in a game where they're up by 3 touchdowns when they're losing, or when he's having a bad day with a few turnovers. Screw it, I don't care. And he can't, which you can just see it in his face because he wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I love the guy, I love the person that he is and everything that he can. But the Dolphins are going to need to invest in a quarterback behind him, because they're not going to let him go this offseason. Let's be realistic. They are going to need to have a backup quarterback that's going to need to be better than, obviously Skyler, who is now, I think, on the practice squad or will be on the practice squad at some point. So we'll kind of see what's available out there, but I think we need to get somebody, because the anticipation is he's going to make that decision again. And when he does make that decision, and if he were to get a concussion, which obviously we do not want to see that, but if it were to happen, we've got to have a viable backup, because those 4 games, 3 out of the 4 we lost. And probably 2 out of the 3 that we lost, we should have won. We could have won, especially if we had Tua at the helm. And then we wouldn't be fighting like we are right now for this type of playoff spot. So,
yeah, you said a lot of good things. I think the one thing I'd push back on, though, which I don't agree with, you said something's got to change, and there's going to be changes. I don't see a damn change coming. I hope I'm wrong.
You said it at the draft. You said it based on how we did our draft, right? That these guys are going to be here.
It was that report in the offseason. Well, there was a few reports where, Cam Wolf and some others, it's a step back pause here. And they said that back in April. I know some fans didn't like it and they got in their feelings, but they knew this might, now they didn't know he was going to get hurt, obviously, but they knew, this might be a year where they don't make the playoffs, or they don't go far, where they, take a step back, and they're well prepared for it because they knew how they drafted, what they did by letting literally Brandon Jones, Elliott, Wilkins, everyone walk, and they didn't even try to replace half of them. They didn't even try to replace half of them, okay? So I don't think I'll put it this way. I'm not sure they're going to fire Danny Crossman. Because after the game, McDipshit said, well, we were in the right formation. We just didn't execute. He's still making excuses for him. And that's why Mike McDaniel is a bottom-tier NFL head coach. Out of the 32 head coaches, he's in the bottom 10. You might be able to make a case that he's in the bottom 5. I'd have to do a little bit of research and go through every coach, but he's a bottom 10 head coach for sure. He's a deer in the headlights on the sideline. He was again this past week for Houston. He's not any good at his job. And when you got a bad head coach, that's why my whole thing from this game was, we lost. Yeah, we missed the playoffs, but it's a game where Houston didn't even play their A game. Houston played a C game. Houston sucked, honestly. We just handed them points and handed them field position and turned it over and fell for a fake punt. Everyone in the stadium knew it was coming. We just gave the game away. And Houston took it, as they should. My fear is, what do we do next year if they put the band back together? And by band, I mean Grier and McDaniel. Like, are you going to get excited in March when we sign 2 or 3 guys? Oh, we're better. Oh, we got this guy. We're going to be better. And then we got 10 draft picks. Oh, we got this guy. We got this guy round 3. Oh, yeah, we're great. But come September, you got the same clueless asshole on the sideline who doesn't know what he's doing. So you can get excited in March. You can get excited in April. When the games come, you can't win because your head coach doesn't know what he's doing. He won't give up the play calling duties, which he needs to do. The general manager is either a puppet or he's incompetent. You take your pick. Either way, it's bad. Either he's doing everything the head coach wants, which makes him worthless, or he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and we just don't make the playoffs at all. And he's on his 3rd head coach with him as the general manager. You pick. There's no good answer to any of this. And when it comes to the quarterback, I don't like talking about him because fans get so freaking emotional about the quarterback. The problem with Dolphins fans and the Miami Dolphins front office is you want the player Tua to match the person to Tua. The person's a superstar. He is as good or great as a human being when it comes to character and intangibles that there is. But the majority of this fan base and the front office view him in the same realm as a player. He's a great player. He's a good player. And there's nothing wrong with being a good player. But he's a bit undersized and he's injury prone and he can't win big games. So he'll never be the player to match the person. The person's great. Checks every box. Leader, intangible, never gets in trouble off the field. Checks every box. As a player, he don't come close to checking half the boxes. And that's the problem. I know some fans can't accept the truth and reality. Sorry, not sorry. I don't care about your feelings anymore. Because as a fan of this team, like we all have been for many, many years of our life, I'm sick of losing. I'm sick of being embarrassed on Sundays versus good teams. We show up in big games against good teams, and we're always unprepared with this head coach. Always unprepared. And the quarterback never shows up big. Even the big game versus the Cowboys last year, Ian, that we won, we kicked 5 field goals and we mustered 1 stinking touchdown. It took 5 field goals to win the game.
I remember that one.
We never show up in big games.
So there was a drive, and I think it encapsulated what you're talking about and encapsulated basically what it feels like week in and week out. It was the second to last drive, 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. Dolphins have the ball, and it's at the 7-yard line, or it was at the 17-yard line. And first play, Tua gets sacked, minus 10 yards. So he's now at the Miami 7. Second play, penalty, offensive holding, 10 yards for Aaron Brewer. So it's half the distance to the goal. Then we end up wasting a timeout because we couldn't be prepared. And that's to your point.
Yeah, never prepared.
You need to save those 3 timeouts for the very end of the game. And we couldn't. And then 3rd and 25, pass short right to River Craycraft for 6 yards. And then we had to punt with 3 minutes and 3 seconds left in the game. Now, of course, we got the ball back and we had the opportunity. Yeah. I think to his first play, it was that air ball, that throw. Yeah, that was intercepted.
He had 2 chances to kill narratives. 8 minutes left, down 8. And then 2 minutes left or so, I think, down 8, whatever. And and people say, well, it's not just him. You know what? It kind of is. Kind of is just him.
Yeah. I don't blame fans for being pissed off either.
No, I mean,
we're all here. We're spending our money for this.
Fans pay damn good money for tickets, and some fans travel. Like me,
I was supposed to go. I was supposed to go to Houston, because of my situation, I had to cancel. But had I been there, I mean, I would have loved the fact that I got a chance to see everybody. But besides that,
it's nice to see the people, but it's so frustrating.
But you want to see your team win, man.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And how many times can you keep going back to the fans asking them to fork over money when you literally give them nothing? Like not even 1 year. Like we haven't won the AFC East since 2008. We haven't won a playoff game in since the year 2000, whatever. It's like
we're due, man. We are freaking due.
I've been saying that for a while. We ain't due because you got idiots. We got incompetence of the highest order running this thing. And I hope you're right. I really do, Ian. I hope you're right that they get rid of some people and make changes. But I don't know if they will. And even if they even go a half measure, like let's get rid of Grier but keep McDaniel, that's not enough. Honestly, it's not. I mean, I know they won't fire Mike McDaniel. I know they won't. But it just makes getting excited for 2025 tough because it's just a lost year. And, once again, I told everyone in August, I'm not there at camp, but I talked to some people off the record who are very smart at football. And they all said, this offensive line is so bad, it's not even funny. And that's when they were all healthy and playing. And, I said, guys, this offensive line's bad. Yeah, they got by for parts of this year. Of course, when you don't have the quarterback who throws it in under 2 seconds, you're dead, which that's why that whole month failed. But which shouldn't be the case. You should have a quarterback should be able to have 3 or 4 seconds to throw the damn ball. But we just have to have the guy who has to throw it in 2. But as always, when you're playing good teams, just like we did last year versus the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Bills, this year when we play good teams, even with Tua, he needs more than 2 seconds to throw the ball. So, yes, part of it is the quarterback's fault, but if you're not, he shouldn't have to have a mental clock of 2 seconds or 2.4 seconds to throw the ball. It's not fair to anybody. But when our general manager stands up there, not once, but twice says...
Well, I think you guys are probably more worried than we are, in terms of, at the position depth at those spots you talked about.
And then he comes back with...
We're confident in the offensive line. So, again, it's just one of those, it's, Mike and I we always kind of chuckle, I know you guys made a joke about me saying that you guys are more worried about it than we are. But internally, that's how we feel about our group here as a team.
When I'm going to chuckle? When your ass is fired. That's when I'm going to chuckle. Because this is insulting to fans and people who know football, that you think this is okay. You lost Robert Hunt. Your big idea was Jack Driscoll, who didn't even make the week 1 roster. Like what? Like when you say this stuff out loud, you start to actually think about what happened in the past year, say it out loud. Like if this were any other team, any other owner who actually gave a shit, like this guy would have been fired weeks ago. But not Miami. Everyone's very comfortable in their job. Everyone gets a free pass. The fans just want to see a funny mic'd up clip from Mike McDaniel. I love my head coach so much. He's so funny. Who gives a flying shit? They don't win anything.
So there has to be some level of accountability, and that's something that we've missed for many years. And all we can do is wait, right? All we can do is wait and figure out and find out. So on a positive note, Mike, I have to say I love that Chop Robinson guy. I think he's going to be somebody special.
He's a keeper.
I think he's a keeper. Jonnu Smith's playing out of his mind. I love him as a tight end. And who's our current center right now? It is Brewer, right? Aaron Brewer. He's very serviceable at center. So there, there's some pieces that we have that will be able to transition into next year. Interestingly enough, I don't think they're going to pay Javon Holland. I know we're going to be talking a lot in the offseason about who they're going to keep, who they're going to let go.
Let him go.
I think he started out extremely strong, but I think there's definitely been a little bit of drop off in production from him. But anyway, so let's move on from the sadness.
Yeah, let's talk about. Oh, you know what? This is a party, and we do expect some special people to pop in through the night. And I think I hear someone right now at the door. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, someone's at the door. Oh, wow. Now, see, this person was with us earlier this year, but Ian, I think you're out sick that week. But now he's back for our Christmas show. I'm so glad he was able to return. Everyone, say hello to Jesus.
Hi, Mike and Ian. I want to wish you both a Merry Christmas from all of your Dolphins Talk podcast listeners. Glad to see that you're feeling better, Ian. You're welcome. You can thank me for that. I know it's the holidays and all, but you Miami Dolphins fans are a bit of an annoying bunch. Every Sunday, you guys are blowing me up with prayers, and look, I'm no miracle worker. Well, okay, actually I am, but I can't spend all day just on your football team. So let's summarize what you all want. Chris Grier, fired. Danny Crossman, fired. Tua to slide and not turn it over. Joran Poyer to retire. And then, of course, Liam Eichenberg to find a new profession. As always, no promises. We'll see what we can do.
Well, it's not a Christmas party until Jesus is here. Friend of the show, Jesus, stopping by at our holiday party. What'd you think of Jesus? He's taking credit for your health, Ian. I don't know.
Man, that is awesome, and especially since I'm Jewish. I mean, that definitely helps. I appreciate that.
Well, some Catholics are praying for it.
Well, and I know a lot of Dolphins fans that
Yes.
they've been praying for me, and I mean, I can't tell people enough how much I appreciate their thoughts and prayers and everything.
He made sure you knew that. He took credit.
That's
So
awesome.
everyone, Jesus, thank you for stopping by on the show. We got some news to talk about here. Tua was on the injury report because he was limited in practice with a hip injury. Now, look, I don't know how serious or wink, wink, not serious this is, but with them pretty much out of the playoffs, because 6%, they're not in the playoffs. I know some outlets got them at 22. Folks, they're not making the playoffs. Could they quietly, wink, wink, be shutting him down for the rest of the year? Wouldn't shock me if they did. So is this a real hip injury that, not a big deal, he's going to play? Or is this a hip injury where Sunday at 4, Tyler Huntley's your starting quarterback, Skylar Thompson's your backup? We'll find out Sunday, but I would not be shocked one way or the other. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just shocked at what you were saying. So I was just wondering if his hip injury came from that sandwich hit that he took on Sunday, and if that's what kind of created additional pain for his hip, and he's really experiencing some pain. I know he actually got in front of the media today, and for players that traditionally are not going to be playing the upcoming weekend, I don't usually see them in front of the podium. So that's why I think we'll probably learn more tomorrow and Friday when he's actually on the practice field. I actually think he's going to play. I think he'll continue to play. And if what you're saying comes to fruition, I think it's going to have to be when the Dolphins are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
True. You're probably right. But if they do shut him down quietly, wink, wink, him talking to the press might be, ask me what you got now, because you're not going to be able to talk to me till April. It might be that type of thing where let's get it out before the holiday. See you in April, folks. It could have been that as well. Calais Campbell, there's some news, which we've known about this since the first part of November. Again, one of those stories that was reported. A lot of fans don't want to believe it, but it's actually true. Once the Dolphins are officially eliminated from the playoffs, he will probably be released. So if they lose to San Francisco this week, or however the games fall, if they're out of the playoffs, they're probably going to release him so he can sign with a team and play in a playoff game, as it's probably his final season in the NFL. Give him a chance to go out a winner. Now, he is subject to waivers, but I think so many people like this guy. You're not going to see like a 2-win Panther team claim him, knowing, look, everyone's trying to do the right thing here. Yeah. Now, if it's a team when you get into the playoff hunt, like say the Broncos, could they claim him to make sure he doesn't go to the Ravens? Absolutely. That's fair game. But I don't think you're going to see like the garbage teams like the Jets or the Giants or like the Raiders putting a claim, because that's not what this is about. It's like trying to do right by a guy who everyone loves. And he even commented on it saying, look, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, I'd be very open to that, which is kind of what they promised him at the trade deadline when Mike McDaniel, because they in hindsight probably should have traded him. But in the moment they wanted to sort of write it out. So they're like, we'll see when we're eliminated. We'll try to give you a chance. So there's that. Blake Ferguson's out for the remainder of the season. Nobody knows the hell why. He's practiced the past 2 weeks, so I don't know. It's a long snapper. Who gives a shit? Tyreek Hill put out a cryptic tweet today that Mike McDaniel and Tua actually had to answer for, which I'm sure they were thrilled about. This is why Tyreek Hill's a bit of a clown and can be a little bit of a locker room cancer, because he thinks he's just having fun on social media. But his head coach and his quarterback have to actually answer questions about this nonsense, and I'm sure they were thrilled about that. So I don't know what Tyreek's talking about. Tyreek's got a lot of things going on right now. I can't even talk about him on the air. They're so bad. He's got a lot of things going on. So God bless Tyreek. But I don't know what the hell that tweet meant about he's going to be a coach or he's going to coach or he wants to. Who the hell knows? But Tua had to answer about it. Mike McDaniel had to answer about it. Whatever. No determination if Jaylen Waddle will practice or play this week. He didn't practice today. They said it's not a super serious injury, but again, why risk him? We don't need another Chubb situation where he gets hurt at the end of the year and he's out for the whole next year. I see no reason to play him, but we'll see. Maybe they will. Chubb, speaking to him, no word if he's going to play again this year. Again, why? You're probably going to cut him in the offseason because you're desperate for cap space. The last thing you want him to do is get hurt in a meaningless game. But this is Mike McDaniel. Who the hell knows? And Armstead and Lamb will practice this week. No word if they'll play Sunday. I think Lamb, if he can go, will. I'd be shocked if they take reps away from Patrick Paul.
I have to say, real quick, Mike Lamb's replacement was 76, I think was his number.
Jackson Carman or something?
Yeah, we're sitting there watching the game. My wife and I were sitting on the couch. And by the third penalty, my wife's like, who is that 76 guy? He keeps getting penalties. He's horrible. I said, yeah, he's the guy covering for the other, for one of the guys that
well, here's the other thing that drove me nuts in that game. We waited all stinking year for Isaiah Wynn to get healthy and possibly play.
Yep.
And he's been active for a few weeks now. And you watch the first half of that game, whether it's Jackson Carman, who was getting beat up, or Liam Eichenberg, who was getting beat up even worse. And I'm sitting there screaming, I never want to hear the words accountability come from Mike McDaniel's mouth again. If in the second half of this game, he trots either one of them out there when you have a healthy Isaiah Wynn on the bench, why did we sign this man if you have no intention of playing him? And also, why did we then cut Marcus May to activate Patrick McMorris and May, which they could use the help in the secondary, Miami? Just cut Wynn if you have no intention of playing him. Like, none of this stuff makes sense. They're all idiots in charge. And I was screaming at halftime, if Wynn ain't going to play today, when are you going to play him? Because now the games don't matter, and they screwed the pooch there. Not that they would have won if they played him, but they might have had more success than they did with Liam Eichenberg, Jackson Carman out there, who weren't just bad, they were dreadful. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
You're not. I mean, when my wife points it out, this is the important thing. When Mrs. Big E points it out, that's when you know there's a problem.
Yeah. All right. Midpoint of the show, I want to give a shout out to everyone listening at finheaven.com. Everyone go to finheaven.com, largest Miami Dolphins message board on the internet. Also, a shout out to our friends at the I Am a Miami Dolphins fan Facebook page run by the great, talented, and handsome Carlos Hernandez. If you're on Facebook, please be sure you are part of the I Am a Miami Dolphins fan Facebook page. And wherever you're listening to this podcast, whether it's YouTube, and if you're on YouTube, smash that like button right now. Also, subscribe if you haven't yet. But if it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Podbean, Podchaser, or one of the other hundreds of platforms we're on, please be sure to subscribe. Because yes, the team's not doing great; it's losing. We're gonna be here with you all off season, through the free agency, through any possible hopeful changes we make. Please make a change with front office or assistants. So be sure you don't want to miss an episode of either Tom, myself, Ian, Josh and Aaron, Kevin Dern's doing great stuff. Marissa Marino is going to be back in the fold soon. So you don't want to miss anybody here in the DolphinsTalk.com podcast. And, of course, Josh Moser, DolphinsTalk.com podcast network. Mellow Seltzer. It's the holiday season, folks. And look, watching this team of the Dolphins, you might need a drink every now and then. So this is why you should go with Mellow THC Seltzer. That's right, the seltzer that's taking America by storm. Mellow THC Seltzer comes in wild berry, grapefruit, strawberry, mango, and half lemonade and iced tea. A mix of madness, genius, and a pinch of chaos to bring you the best sips in the universe. With 5 milligrams of THC in this drink, Mellow is revolutionizing the way you unwind. Each sip is designed to gently lift your spirits and ground your senses. Go to mellowseltzer.com for information on how and where to purchase. And yes, Ian, after that loss, I was actually drinking this. No offense to the people at Mellow, they're great. I was drinking tequila, and lots of it. Miami Dolphins tequila. This isn't a plug. This is bottle number 3 since Sunday because this team is driving me to drink and going to kill my liver at this point. So It's time for the name game, but I think I hear someone at the door again. Well, it's not Christmas until you get a visit from the big guy himself, Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas, Mike and Ian from the Dolphins Talk podcast listeners. How's it going, guys? Well, Dolphin fans, I know it's been a rough season, you guys. I know your Dolphins haven't done what they were hoped to do this year. I know. There's always next year. I've been getting bombarded with wish lists from the Dolphin fans. Oh, you can imagine. Let's go over a few of those right now. You all want to get rid of Grier. Oh, Grier. It doesn't really matter, does it? He deserves a pink slip. Oh, well, you may not need me for that. He's doing a fine job on his own. Oh, adios. Y'all want me to get Tua some glasses. Oh, so we know who he's throwing the ball to on Sundays. Well, I might be able to help there. And what about if I just take Liam Eichenberg off your hands and give him a job at the North Pole? That'll solve some problems. Wonderful, guys. Well, we've got a lot to hope for next season. You never know, right? Oh, hope springs eternal. All right, guys, be good. Well, I thought it was spring. Well, maybe it is hope. Oh, hope in one hand and, well, in the other. Anyway, Dolphin fans, be good. I'll see you Christmas Eve. Don't forget my cookies. All right, guys. Merry Christmas.
Hey, it's not a Christmas show without Santa making an appearance. That's awesome. Santa Claus. Everyone's hearing from these, whether it's Jesus or Santa, everyone's hearing. Dolphins fans want change. They don't want Liam Eichenberg, Chris Grier around anymore. Sounds like they both have the same message. Oh, my God. But, yeah, so you got a little Santa Claus there. Now, it's time to play the name game. We've had some fun with the name game. And I've saved it. Look, I have a million of these things. I did save a couple Christmas-themed ones. So, the first one, and let's see if Ian's going to shat on Ed Sheeran's ass this week. I don't know. Ian, what's your reindeer name? Your reindeer name. So take the first letter of your first name. You're going to be Ivy.
Ivy Shadowhoof.
Ivy Shadowhoof. I am going to be Mistletoe, July, Sunfirehoof. Mistletoe, Sunfirehoof. You know what? I'll take it. What's our snowman name? Take the first initial of your first name. You got Barry for Ian. Barry McCarrot. Barry McCarrot. I am going to be Sparkle McGlitzen. Sparkle McGlitzen seems like a character from an Adam Sandler movie. I don't know why. Sparkle McGlitzen. What's your elf name? First letter of your first name. Ian is Innocent.
Oh, no.
Innocent gingerbread breath. I don't know why it makes me laugh. It's just so silly and stupid. Mine is Mighty Twinkle Toes. I'll take Mighty Twinkle Toes. Sounds like a superhero character. Santa's helper name. What's your Santa's helper name? So we got Ian's Perky. What's your birth
Sugar
number?
Stitches.
10? Perky Sugar Stitches. And I am.
It could be a porn name too. You just never know.
It could be I am Frilly Glitter Bottom. That's a stripper name. That's a porn name. Frilly Glitter Bottom. That checks a lot of boxes on name. Now those are all the holiday ones I got. I got a couple other ones. Let's do these. Superhero name. First letter of first name. Ian is Solid Phoenix. Okay, that's kind of cool actually. I am Power Storm. Oh, that's an awesome name. That would also work as a porn star name too. Power Storm. Let's go. We'll do one more here. What's heavy metal band name? I don't think we did this one last week, did we?
No.
Bastard.
Fury.
Bastard Fury. That's a hell of a band name. Although Walmart's not going to sell your records with the first name Bastard. I'll tell you that right now. I am Dark Soldier. Ooh, that's like a good rap name too.
There you go.
All right, so we got a few there. I still got a few more. We'll save them, for the future. But yeah, name game this week because I don't know. We gotta. It's tough getting through these seasons. Once the season's over, you won't have any more of this stuff. All right, we got Dolphins, San Francisco this week. Some of the numbers here. San Francisco's only got 6 wins. They're in last place. Much like Miami, they have a very slim path to the playoffs. It's probably not going to happen. But their numbers are like shockingly good. Total offense. Here, I'm going to do this week different. Total offense, San Francisco 8th. Passing offense, San Francisco 10th. Rushing offense, San Francisco 8th. Scoring offense, San Francisco 16th. You got 3 top 10 numbers and 1 in the top half. How is this team only got 6 wins? I have no idea. For Miami, total offense 19, passing offense 14, rushing offense 26, which is amazing, and scoring offense 24th. So San Francisco's numbers there are like really, really good. They even get better on defense. Total defense, San Francisco 3rd. Passing defense, San Francisco 2nd. Rushing defense, San Francisco 15th. Scoring defense, San Francisco 17th. Miami, these numbers, total 6th, passing 8th, rushing 8th, scoring 13th. Those actually aren't bad numbers.
Top 10.
It's just been in certain moments they haven't played well. But, San Francisco, here's the deal. San Francisco's without their 2 top running backs. Deebo Samuel's having a very down year. Brandon Ayuk, he's been out since like October. They had a linebacker on them last week, quit on the team, just leave.
Midway through the game.
Yeah, just midway through. I ain't going out there anymore. San Francisco, much like Miami, they're not out of it yet, but they're 2 games back with 3 games to play. It ain't happening. And then for Miami, we know the offensive line is a disaster. We know that they have a few healthy wide receivers left, and the biggest liability is our head coach. So, Ian, I think this game is what team shows up and actually wants to win and try.
It's going to be interesting. Like you said, there's a lot of similarities between the 2 teams. And, last year, the 49ers were playing extremely well. Dolphins were playing extremely well. This year, for one reason or another. And I'll tell you, I think the missing piece for the 49ers is obviously Christian McCaffrey. I think once they first got him and the following season after they traded for him, he was really a main cog in the wheel of how that offense went. And then once he was out, because I know a lot of people in fantasy football that picked him in the top 2, top 3 of their fantasy football drafts this year. And I think he's only played, less than 3 games, maybe 4 games all season.
Something like that.
And without him, and then now also without their second running back, it's been extremely hard for them to run. So the defense is all planned for an air attack. And even then, it's not as successful as they have had because they don't have all their weapons. But in the case of Sunday, the Dolphins may be without Waddle, which is one of their top 2 weapons that Tua feels really comfortable throwing to. So it's going to be very interesting. Like you said, who's going to want it more? I think there is the challenge, obviously, of San Francisco having to travel all the way to Florida, right? There's a time change when it comes to that. Weather's not going to be really an issue. But I think that it's going to be interesting. Who wants it more? Who's going to give up on their coach more? Who's going to be fighting for that 5% playoff chance? And I think we'll see. We will see this weekend if these guys are just giving up, or is Coach McDaniel going to say, let's figure this out, Tua, air it out, give us some positive plays, and maybe see Tyreek get some of those classic 30, 40, 50-yard, receptions that we just haven't seen from him this year. I felt like we were seeing it every single weekend last year in the 2023 season. This year, we're hardly seeing it. So maybe we can close out the year some way and figure this out, that we can push the ball down the field a bit.
Yeah. Goes back to the head coach not having a counter move when everyone's caught onto his offense. His offense, well, I have a joke on that about to come up, so I'll save it for the joke. Okay, it's time for the preview and predictions.
It's now time for Mike and Ian's Fearless Predictions.
All right, San Francisco at Miami, 4:25 p.m. Eastern on CBS, live from Hard Rock Stadium, or as I call it now, the new Factory of Sadness. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo on the call. San Francisco, Northern California, wine country, just beautiful, a home of many national parks, and of course, the 49ers, a football team with a rich history and tradition. 5-time Super Bowl champions, 8-time NFC champions, Montana, Rice, Clark, Lott, Young. The 49ers have been to the Super Bowl in 2019, 2023. Miami last went in 1984. So how can I roast this fantastic franchise? I can't. So let's crack some jokes about Chris Grier, Mike McDaniel, and Tua. Merry Christmas, everyone. Chris Grier. Chris Grier should be boiled in oil and his fat sold for soap. If ignorance is bliss, Chris Grier must be overjoyed. Ego is not your amigo, Chris. You, as a general manager of an NFL team, is as out of place as a screen door on a submarine. You know what I like about Ian? You know what I like about Chris?
What do you like about him?
Ha! You can't think of anything either. Chris, you're an egg-sucking dog. You have all the personality of a dead moth. You are a cold sore on the lip of life. And how come I have a feeling Chris Grier eats cake while sitting on the toilet when he just wants some alone time? Chris, I'm sorry. Happy holidays. Let's go on to Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, you're not a hot mess. You're a spicy disaster. Everyone calls Mike a genius. He got the label from being valedictorian of summer school. In 2024, Mike McDaniel's offense is like winking at a girl in the dark. Nothing happens. Mike looks on the sideline like a guy in games. He sweats more than a hog's asshole. Mike, you look like you should be running the Ferris wheel at the county fair. Mike McDaniel's offense was 1 of 9 on third down versus the Jets, 4 of 13 on third down versus Houston. That's a whopping 5 for 22 on third down in the last 2 games. On the rare occasion Miami picks up a third down now, Mike is like an Alzheimer's patient in a whorehouse. He is surprised that he's just been screwed, but he don't want to pay for it. Mike, your offense went from bold, exotic, and exciting to bland and boring. It's like going from having crazy wild sex to now jerking off while you're wearing a condom. What happened? Tua, you couldn't come up with a fart after a meal at Taco Bell, let alone lead a winning touchdown drive. Watching Tua play quarterback is like receiving a dry hand job. You're excited something fun might happen, then you realize it's just a dry hand job and it'll be a letdown. Tua seems like a nice guy, but he also seems like a guy who will eat all of his fries before he touches his hamburger. Something's just a little off with Tua. I think Bill Hicks said it best. I like Jesus and Elvis. I'm just not crazy about their fans. With Tua and all the apologists and cult members, it's kind of how I feel about you. In a big game, when Tua's playing quarterback, he's got the look on his face of a suicide bomber who's having second thoughts. On to this game. We'll see who actually plays this week. I don't expect to see Waddle or Armstead. Depending on what happens Thursday night with that Chargers-Broncos game, Calais Campbell might not even be active, as they might just say, we're out of it after that game. You can go. Tyreek Hill, you never know what the hell's going on with him. Which Dolphins team will show up? And who on San Francisco still cares? I don't know. It's a tough game to predict. And it's going to be tough to predict these final 3 weeks of the season. But I'll tell you this, Ian. These final 3 weeks of the season, I'm not going to let this Miami Dolphins team give me any more agita. So, will I pick them? Hell no, I'm done with them. San Francisco 27-24, and it really doesn't even matter.
My prediction is going to be very, very quick, Mike. Will you answer one question for me?
Sure.
Just one question. Do the San Francisco 49ers have a winning record?
No.
Dolphins are going to win 27-20. Bam.
You know what? You're probably right. You're probably right. You're probably right. We got
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Guys in the chat, put up some comments here. We'll close out the show with some comments here. Armando, thank you for the kind words. You got Daryl, that's my birthday. My birthday's the 12th. Don't forget that, the 12th. Send me gifts. I will take your gifts. I had someone in South Florida send it to me, a friend. So they're for sale in South Florida. If you're looking for the Miami Dolphins tequila, I think they're sold at the Publix and pretty much any liquor store from what I've heard. We got Jordan who wants to hear the foreskin joke. Okay, which I said this joke a few weeks ago talking about Aaron Rodgers. Now I said this joke this week on 560 WQAM with Zach Krantz and Doug.
They didn't bleep it out?
They didn't bleep it out. Those two guys, look, Ian, after we're done, you can skim, don't have to watch the whole show. I said it. Those two guys fell out of their chairs. And I said, Tua Tagovailoa's new nickname is now Foreskin because when things get hard, he disappears. They fell out of their chairs. And then I compared Chris Grier. I said he's as useful as a knitted condom. And they almost fell out of their chairs again like 10 minutes later when I dropped that one. I think I hurt these two people. Hurt them in a positive way. They just couldn't recover from those jokes. Now, you guys don't watch what I do every Wednesday with Ian, do you? I just said Chris Grier eats cake while he sits on the toilet. I mean, I got a million of these things. Trust me, folks, they're all up here. But yeah, there's that. And, it's been a fun Christmas party. Everything, Oh, you know what? I think we got one more person going to show up. Hold on. Well, look, if you're going to have Santa Claus, sometimes it's his wife, Mrs. Claus.
Well, Merry Christmas, Mike and Ian. It's me, Mrs. Claus. I'm coming to you from the North Pole at my Christmas castle. Santa would love to be here to speak with you as well, but Christmas Day is upon us very soon, and so he's out in the workshop with the elves. The whiny little motherfucking elves that are a pain in my ass, and they're allegedly working on the toys. I don't know. I don't give a fuck that they're in the reindeer barn doing gay things. Who cares? Because I'm in a new era myself. It's all about me now. No more cooking, baking, and all of that shit for Santa. And it's all about my facelift. Can you tell? Can you tell? And all the work I've done on myself to move forward. Back to you. I see you guys are both big Miami Dolphins fans. Let me tell you something about your Dolphins. See, years ago, I tried out to be a Dolphins cheerleader. And those bitches cut me from the squad. Well, since then, I've made sure Stephen Ross, Chris Grier, and all those Dolphin cheerleader bitches are on Santa's fucking naughty list. Yeah, I mean, it is the one time in my life I want to step out from Santa's shadow, not stand behind his big fat ass, and the bitches cut me? The nerve of them. I mean, I've had Botox, had work done on the girls, can you tell? I even had BBL. Huh. Well, I'm sorry if I'm not sympathetic to your plight of the Dolphins fans. So enjoy your coal. Merry fucking Christmas.
Mrs. Claus with an appearance.
That's how we're closing it out.
That's how we're closing out the show. Actually, no. You know what? One last thing, Ian. It's going to take 1:17, so it's not going to take long. Look, I'm a great singer, but I don't feel like tonight having to sing. And I know you're not feeling the best. You're still rehabbing. I won't make you sing. So we're going to close out this show with a song before we close out. It's a holiday song. Everyone sing along.
We're riding through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Ho, ho, ho! Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. We're riding through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Ho, ho, ho! Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Ho, 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 ho.
All right.
We have too much fun on this show.
Ian, that's why we're not up for just one, but 2 podcast awards.
Love it.
Not one.
Love it.
But 2. And don't forget to vote, folks. But yes, everyone have a great Christmas. Everyone, or have a great Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Fun time with family and friends. The next Wednesday's Christmas Day, we ain't going to be here. Christmas Eve, we ain't going to be here either. If the team was actually good and in the playoff hunt, we'd come up with something. We're probably just going to take the week off because none of this matters anymore. And we'll be back maybe for that final game. We'll do a show before the final game against the Jets because it's the Jets, and I like to write jokes about the Jets. So we'll do something for that. Don't forget, Sunday. I know the game's a stinker, but again, Josh, Aaron, and myself will be at my house. 3 of us, 1 room, 1 TV, live stream. Patreon.com/DolphinsTalk. $3. All it costs you. $3. Less than you spend on a cup of coffee. We're going to burn the Odell Beckham Jr. jockstrap candle in a show to the football gods. They have mercy on us. We're going to watch the game. We'll have some fun. It's going to be pizza and wings for us. We're going to be eating like slobs. But it's going to be fun. And you guys can join us on the air while the game's going on because we don't second guess. We first guess. And we'll talk about Tua. We'll talk about the coach. We'll talk about the problems of the Dolphins. And the game gets boring. We'll talk about reality TV show and other stuff. I don't know. Whatever comes up. We'll talk about Mrs. Claus' appearances tonight. See what she thinks. Maybe we'll rope her in for a live guest spot. But everyone, be sure, patreon.com/Dolphins Talk Sunday. Ian, any closing thoughts here before this holiday season?
No, I just, I know a lot of people take this Dolphins team seriously and they're emotionally attached. Now that the holidays are here, take a step back, take a breath, enjoy your time with your friends, your family. And, Dolphins are always going to be here next year, the year after that. But, especially if you got young ones at home, they get older, they end up moving out and doing it. So enjoy this time with them and don't let the Dolphins stuff ruin your holiday celebrations. That's all.
That's right. And once again, it's been a great season. We'll be back probably, like I said, something for the Jets game. But as we sort of wrap up this regular season, only one show left. Thank you guys for joining us each and every Wednesday night. And like I said, we'll be here all off season with stuff. But, we do appreciate you. Win or lose, you come every week and support us. And, we do appreciate it, whether some people love what I say. Some people hate what I say. I've got like 3 emails this week of people loving what I'm saying. It's always funny. When the team loses, people love me more. I don't probably because they're looking for that hard truth that I give them that some other people don't out there. It's just so weird like that. But we do appreciate your support. Everyone does. Josh, Aaron, Tom, Ian. So thank you so much. Don't forget to vote again for that podcast. It was really, I am totally pandering for this. Please vote. But everyone, thank you for listening. We'll talk to you again after a while. And when you're on the road, going to grandma's house, Christmas Eve, no matter how much snow or no snow, no matter how crazy the drivers are, don't forget we must put an end to highway profanity. Merry Christmas.
Fins up. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever you celebrate. Enjoy your time. Bye, everybody.